In the final season of the Clone Wars TV series, Maul would accurately reveal the future of Anakin Skywalker to Ahsoka. With Ahsoka asking Maul why he was so interested in bringing Anakin to Mandalore, he told her that Anakin was the key to everything in the machinations of Darth Sidious, where Anakin would eventually join the Sith and Darkseid as Sidious's apprentice. Ahsoka wouldn't hesitate to dismiss Maul's information, telling him she knew Anakin and his vision was flawed. We, on the other hand, know that ultimately Maul was correct. Anakin would become Sidious's apprentice, fulfilling the long-term goal Sidious had when Anakin became Darth Vader. So it must be asked, in the immediate aftermath of Order 66, did Ahsoka consider that Maul could be correct about Anakin's future, where the Jedi Knight joined the Sith and Sidious's galactic empire? Before we begin, I just want to mention two important aspects to this question within the canon lore. First, the Ahsoka novel, which we'll be using primarily to answer this question, was released years before the recent 7th season of the Clone Wars. So of course, we don't have material where Ahsoka is specifically addressing Maul's reveal about Anakin directly. However, we do have a few elements within the lore that allow us to conclude what Ahsoka likely thought about Maul's vision after the Clone War. Second, we know that in Season 2 of the Rebels TV series, Ahsoka's shocked when she first finds evidence that Anakin's still alive, assisting the Empire as Darth Vader, indicating that over the years since Order 66, Ahsoka's conclusion was just as strong as it was initially on Mandalore. She knew Anakin, and there was no way Maul's vision could have been true, explaining why she was so overwhelmed when she finally learned the truth about Anakin. For this reason, I'm going to focus solely on Ahsoka's thoughts in the earliest weeks and months after Order 66, where there was the potential for her to consider Maul's information just after the Jedi Order was destroyed, which was another accurate prediction made by Maul on Mandalore. We'll look at the lore that exists that should have allowed Ahsoka to understand Maul was telling the truth, whether there's any indication that Ahsoka might have recognized the true future for Anakin, and ultimately, why she rejected any possibility that Anakin was a Sith after Order 66, holding on to her conclusion just as strongly after the Clone War as she did when Maul initially revealed his information to her on Mandalore. Interestingly, the Ahsoka novel demonstrates that Ahsoka had every opportunity to know it was possible Anakin was the Sith who replaced Dooku and was the new apprentice of Sidious. After Order 66, there was no doubt that Ahsoka knew Palpatine's true identity as Darth Sidious, recognizing that a Sith Lord was now in control of the Galactic Empire and the galaxy. Importantly, as Ahsoka started to learn more about the Inquisitors who were being trained by the Empire to locate and eliminate the Jedi who still existed within the galaxy, she recognized that they likely weren't Sith. First, they were too weak, realizing that the sixth brother who she was aware of wasn't powerful at all, despite his use of the dark side. Even more important, Ahsoka was aware of the rumors the Emperor had another Dark Lord who was helping him find the Jedi survivors of Order 66. And unlike the Inquisitors, this individual who assisted the Emperor was powerful. There was every opportunity for Ahsoka to recognize that this was a new Sith Lord who joined Sidious, and together with Maul's reveal on Mandalore, it could have been possible for Ahsoka to at least consider the possibility it was Anakin. However, there's no indication that Ahsoka ever connected this individual to Anakin, and the Ahsoka novel explains why this was for Ahsoka. In the immediate aftermath of Order 66, Ahsoka considered what might have happened to Anakin at the end of the Clone War. In the earliest moments after Order 66, Ahsoka didn't recognize Anakin's fall to the dark side at all, instead remembering how thankful she was that when she reached out to him regarding the mission on Mandalore, Anakin helped her, and even provided her with her Jedi weapons to carry out the mission. We discussed it in a recent video, but through their years of fighting the Clone War together, Anakin and Ahsoka developed a strong connection through the Force, where Ahsoka could sense his presence when she was meditating. When Ahsoka tried to sense the presence of Anakin during these earliest moments after Order 66, Ahsoka couldn't perceive Anakin or any other Jedi in the Force. Ahsoka wouldn't be able to sense Anakin through the Force because, as we discussed recently, Anakin would have likely been very different in the Force once he became Darth Vader, now consumed by anger, rage, and the dark side. But this inability to sense Anakin ultimately resulted in Ahsoka ending her attempts to try to find Anakin in the Force and locate him before she began hiding from the Empire. And of course, the Ahsoka novel gives no evidence that she ever understood the true path of Anakin with the Sith and Darkseid at this time after Order 66. This demonstrates that even though we don't have a scene where Ahsoka considers what Maul said about Anakin specifically after Order 66, at least not yet, the canon lore is clear that immediately after the destruction of the Jedi Order, Ahsoka has no understanding that Anakin joined the Sith, or that he even survived after the Clone War. As depicted in the Ahsoka novel, I believe she's just as unwavering in the belief that Anakin would never join Sidious right after Order 66 as she was initially on Mandalore, which is also seen in the Rebels TV series. Roughly 1 year after the end of the Clone War, Ahsoka concluded that all of the Jedi, including Anakin, were gone as a result of Sidious's machinations. In this way, it makes sense that Ahsoka would never consider Maul's reveal about Anakin to be true, as her inability to sense the Jedi Knight over the first months of the Empire instead caused her to conclude Anakin was killed during Order 66. Instead of Ahsoka considering the possibility of what Maul saying was actually true, Ahsoka remembered Anakin primarily as he was during the Clone War, thinking about how he would deal with 20 stormtroopers as she was escaping from the Empire, or even what he would think about one of the moons Ahsoka would find and hide on during the Imperial era. We could see a story showing Ahsoka specifically consider Maul's reveal about Anakin's future at some point. But I don't think there's a lot of room within the current canon lore for Ahsoka to truly consider whether it was true, let alone accept the possibility that Maul was correct. As seen within the Ahsoka novel, from the earliest moments after Order 66, Ahsoka's concerned primarily with Anakin's safety, and over the course of the first year of the Empire, she slowly came to accept that he died during Order 66. With no evidence that what Maul said was true, she simply remembered Anakin's lessons from the era of the Clone War, and didn't even consider the possibility that the new Dark Lord who helped the Emperor eliminate the remaining Jedi was in any way connected to Anakin. Ultimately, we know Ahsoka concluded Maul wasn't correct as she was completely shocked to learn that Darth Vader was Anakin roughly 15 years after the Clone War. I think we can say that this was consistent throughout the Imperial era, and even in the earliest moments after Order 66, when Maul's reveal might be considered to be true the most, Ahsoka rejected any possibility of Anakin joining the Sith. In this way, I think there are a lot of similarities between Obi-Wan and Ahsoka. Obi-Wan knew Anakin as well as anyone, but despite the fact that Luke was correctly revealing that there was still good in Vader and he could be redeemed, Obi-Wan couldn't see it, rejecting that possibility completely. I think the same can be said about Ahsoka. Despite Maul correctly revealing that Anakin would join the Sith and Darkseid, Ahsoka just couldn't see it, believing it wasn't possible based upon what she knew about Anakin. For this reason, based upon what we've seen in the Clone Wars, the Ahsoka novel, and Rebels, even in the immediate aftermath of Order 66, it's not likely Ahsoka considered that Maul might be correct about Anakin's future with the Sith and Darkseid, and rejected that potential outcome until she realized Darth Vader was Anakin roughly 15 years after the Clone War. So there we have it, what the current canon lore says about Ahsoka's ability to recognize Maul might have been correct about Anakin's future with the Sith. Thank you very much to all of the Patreon members of Star Wars Reading Club, as your support is so greatly appreciated. You can find all of our social media links and a link to our Star Wars gaming channel in the description below, for updates and even more Star Wars content. We love making these videos, so why not subscribe for more fun Star Wars theories and discussions. Also, if you enjoyed the video, think about giving a like or leaving a comment. If not for me... For I wonder what Maul knew after Order 66.